Right, this is what we've been warning people about with 5G, where currently the 5G that we've got is like 4G plus. The devices radiate in dispersed radiation, yeah? So they send a signal in all directions and hope it gets to the destination. And at the other end, it sends one back and hopes it gets there, right? And that could be bad enough. Over long term, that might do you some damage, right? But it's not beam forming high powered microwaves and millimeter waves, which were advertised in 2017. And then the techno freaks that were advertising it, that had been funded by Goldman Sachs, they shut the fuck up. And they've shut the fuck up for a good 5 years. And it looked as though they were struggling. There were rumours, quite well-founded rumours, that they were struggling to make their tech work, right? Here's a diagram, right, of something that's coming out. Supposedly it's started already in Blackburn, right? And this is beam forming high-powered microwaves. So the radiation we've got now is bad enough, and there's more of it, so that's bad. But over the long term, right, this could cause short-term instant injury, possibly death. Who the fuck knows? This is the deadly shit that makes the radiation we've got now look like child's play. Seriously, right? Here's a video about it that fucking explains it, right? This is a government twat. He's a fucking idiot. He's just reading off a script, right? He hasn't got a fucking clue. He's talking about levelling up and build back better and bullshit, right? This new technology is going to be even faster. Nobody's ever asked for faster fucking broadband, have they? The gamers who want high-speed shit are sat there in the Captain Kirk fucking reclining chairs playing fucking high-speed fucking Moderna warfare. Right. I'll show you what's fucking dangerous about this shit and why.
A new dawn.
Right. It says there on the side of the van.
A new beginning.
6GI. It's not 6G, it's 5G, right? This is the 5G beam forming high-powered microwaves.
A new dawn.
Right, and I'll prove it to you.
A brand new network built using fiber and wireless technology.
Yeah. Whoa, what the fuck's that? That looks like Star Wars, doesn't it? That is, for illustrative purposes, because they're invisible, beam forming high-powered microwave and millimeter waves. Isn't it? In Star Wars, if you walked into that beam, you'd be dead. Right, in 2017 they advertised it. Like I said, they shut the fuck up because they were struggling to make it work. Because the techies, the engineers that have tasked with the job of doing what the salesman said they could do. Yeah. Oh shit, we said we could do this. You better fucking invent a way of doing it. Right, so the techies are like, oh fuck, we've got to make this work for a big wage. Right, let's have a go then. So they couldn't get it to work at street level, otherwise they would have done. Why couldn't they get it to work at street level? Right, well the frequencies are closer to the frequency of light, which won't go through a wall. Wi-Fi goes through a wall, light doesn't. This millimeter wave, including the 60 gigahertz oxygen molecule disrupting wave, doesn't go through solid objects very well. So at a lower level, halfway up the street lamp, where they'd planned to put these radiation fucking antenna things, transmitters, that weren't stealth, that you can see, right? What they'd planned, they couldn't get to work at street level. So now look where they've put it, way up there. Why couldn't they get it to work? Well, could it be A, obstructions, as explained, and B, that it's possibly deadly or seriously injures you? We'll see in a moment how one of the engineers makes sure he gets his head out of the way of these beams. Beam forming high-powered microwaves and millimeter waves. Yeah, so could it be that this concentrated signal is a bit like a microwave oven in its power density? Maybe. And you wouldn't want to get your head in the way of that, would you? So they've put it up out of the way. Oh, we wanted to make it safe, so we've put it high up in the air, so the deadly waves are up there, you know. What could possibly go wrong? Right, bizarrely, most of the network of this thing called 6GI, which is 5G really, is broadband. Right? So this here is under the ground. It's in a cable to stay able. There's no microwave radiation. Before anyone like Mark Steele goes, oh, they're microwaving us from under the street. No, they're not. Right? Most of the network is wired. And then the last little bit, they have wireless. How insane. Because the wireless bit cannot possibly transmit faster than the data it's receiving from the wired part of the network. So they might as well have just made the last bit wired. But no, they didn't want to. Because, oh yeah, wireless, it's cool, yeah, and dangerous. Here we can see high-powered beam-forming microwaves and millimetre waves in the air just above your head. So what happens if that bird flies through the beam? I dread to think. Might drop down dead, stone cold dead straight away, or it might wing its way back to its resting place, its final resting place. Who knows? The industry certainly don't. They haven't tested this stuff. Now then, check out how this fella's trying really hard to make sure he don't put his head in the way of that beam. Yeah, he obviously knows that's dangerous. But what happens if, look at that bracket, it's pretty weak. What happens if there's a bit of a strong wind? Or, something goes wrong accidentally or accidentally on purpose, and that beam starts beaming down to the street and a poor child's head. Oh, what could possibly go wrong? Does anyone want these high-powered, concentrated, beam-forming microwaves and millimetre waves zapping around above their head? Seems like playing with fire, doesn't it? What could possibly go right?